Hello. Today we'll be looking at some of the generic financial system terms. Um, so, banks, equity shares, stock markets, they're all financial terms, and it gives a broad introduction to the financial systems. And the content shared in this video will be applicable for uh, education purposes. Basically, any student from BCom, MCom, MBA, CA Finals, CPA, CIMA, or ACCA can refer to this for reference purposes. Um, so let's look at the introduction. So when we say financial system, it's an umbrella term and it covers quite a few other terms within it. So some of them are financial markets, financial institutions, and financial securities. So when we look at financial markets, it encompasses stock exchanges and money markets, and the financial institutions. It encompasses banks, building societies, insurance companies, and pension funds, and then financial securities, for example, mortgages, the home mortgages, and bonds and bills and equity shares, etc. And then, what are the functions of financial systems? So, what happens within the system? So, the first thing is that it channelizes the funds from the lenders to the borrowers. So, anybody who's in need of money, the funds are channelized through to them. And it also provides a mechanism for payment. So, direct debits. So, when we have to pay our utility bills, or when we have to pay our online purchases, or when we have to pay some invoices, it provides us a mechanism for payment, and it also uh, helps us in clearing checks. Recently, with all the enhancements in IT in the banking field, you don't have much of check clearances, but still, I mean, it is vital for very huge payments, and it's a very secure way of transacting money. And the next one is it creates liquidity and creates money. For example, banks literally creates money, and it also increases the lending, and it enhances the monetary power in the hands of people. And it also provides financial services such as pensions and insurance. So insurance is a major service, and it's a broad topic in itself. So it helps in mitigating risks. So that also falls under the financial systems. And it also offers other facilities. The system offers other facilities to manage investment portfolios, such as you want to hedge risk, interest rate risk, or any market risk. So these are the broad functions of the financial systems. So we did see the term called investment and securities in the previous slide. So let's dive deeper into it. So what do we mean by investments? It is a generic term. For example, a company's shares, for example, Google shares or Microsoft shares or any public limited companies shares, they are traded in the stock exchange. And there are corporate bonds, there are treasury bonds, there are government bonds, which is also transacted as a medium of investment. It's a medium of investment, so it does pay for the time value of money. So money staying static in your bank might not give you returns, but if you choose to invest them in such securities or corporate bonds or treasury bonds or in any kind of money market instruments, then you're going to be earning time value for money. You will be repaid in interest, or you'll be repaid via dividends, or you'll be repaid by capital increment in your investments. And these investments are generally traded in the market, in the share market. And there are two sides of people here. So you have the buyer and the seller. So buyer is, of course, the investor who's providing the finance and buying the shares of a company, and seller is a receiver of the finance. So any company who decides to go into an IPO and they want to list their company shares in the share market, then they become the seller and the buyer. So if we, as an investor, we find it to be prospective, we kind of become the buyer. So it's a simple common terminology. So that's what is covered in here, the last bullet point, which is the example. So basically, the idea of sharing this information is to give a broad overview of these terminologies. The banks and equity shares and stock market. If at all we want to know where and how they fall in the system, the financial system, within the financial system, then it's kind of going to give you an overview, and it gives a flavor of the financial system to you all. Hope you found this helpful, and do let me know if you have any suggestions.